What's up, DFW? Let's do it again. Same time, same place every week. Here we go, talking all things residential real estate across DFW. What makes one home sell fast and another one nearby or maybe even next door not sell at all? How is that possible? How do those things happen? Because we know they do. We're going to get into that as we make our way through the show today. And we'll take your questions as well. 214-310-0008. That's 214-310-0008. Let us know what you're working on with your home, your goals, your dreams. Whether you're buying or selling or not, we've got you covered on how to enjoy your home or achieve that goal or that dream. Now, as we make our way through the show, we will address what makes one home sell fast and over asking price, while one next door or nearby doesn't sell at all. That is a very real thing in Dallas-Fort Worth 2025. If you've been listening to the show the last several weeks, you've heard us talk a lot about an atypical summer, how we've been in the murky middle of the real estate market for the last couple of years, 2+ years, but how we are now in what we would call the fall market, although it is the surface of the sun outside most days right now. The real estate market is into the fall. So we'll talk about that, and we'll take your questions. You're listening to DFW Real Estate Weekly with Todd Tremonti. I'm Todd Tremonti, but I am not alone. We have got a full studio. We got microphones with a couple of the regulars around these parts, but we have got a new team member hanging out in the corner too. And if he doesn't keep his eyes up and his head on a swivel, he could find a microphone in his hands at any point.
It's also very awkward the way he's sitting directly behind me.
I think it's
I'm going to have to do some camera work.
We're going to have to move him around.
No, earlier I popped in his office
weird.
And I was like, hey, if you could potentially just make Ian feel really weird, that'd be great.
Just bizarre.
I don't know if you know this.
That helps our aggravated
but
Ian.
we use AI on this show. And Courtney beat me to it by about 3 syllables. Our AI here on DFW Real Estate is aggravated Ian. Ian?
Yep.
Hi, Mom.
Present.
There he is. Always a giver.
Hi, Ian.
Hi, Mom. She keeps showing up.
No, she's fantastic.
Bless her.
Probably the most delightful Daniel family member I know. Although Audrey's great. Happy birthday,
Her
Audrey.
name also
this
has
week.
an S on it, Daniels.
Oh, wow.
I was going to say like Daniel's family member, and I stopped myself and cut your name short. Yeah. I do, in fact, know your name. Happy birthday, Audrey. We don't have to say when it was or where you are, but happy birthday, Audrey.
Why are you so insistent on keeping our lives so private?
Yeah, it was on Wednesday.
Can I answer your question with a question? I know that it was on Wednesday, and I know exactly how old she was. I got it right. I was so happy to know that. Can I answer your question with a question?
Yeah, let's go.
Your question was, why am I so protective of people's privacy? Basically, that was your question?
Well, you just you're like, I'm not going to say where you live. I'm not going to say when your birthday.
Is that how I sound when I say it?
Yeah, you talk like Carter.
Like I just got a brand new Planet Fitness membership. I'm there for the first time in a
You're
tank top.
such a bro.
Yeah, that's how people usually describe me, except for no one ever.
I can find everything out about you.
My question that I would answer your question with is, why would you not protect your privacy and other people's privacy?
I just don't have
there's tens of thousands of people. Well, there were. Now, when we started this topic, there's like 6 people still listening. But at the beginning, there were tens of thousands of people listening. And they, some of them, I would imagine 2 to 4 of them are complete psychopaths. I'm not talking to you if you're not. But anyway.
I think it's my generation. Maybe that's where we diverge.
Have you not noticed this about me, but that I'm a protective person?
Yes.
If you're one of my people, I will go to war. I will protect you. That's what I do. Okay. If you have questions about your real estate and not like public security and privacy of information,
it's not our expertise.
214-310, not all of us, 214-310-0008. Now, this first segment is brought to you by Patrick Glaros and his mortgage team over at ABC Bank. If you're just going, hey, I'd like to dabble, I'd like to get a little info on the home mortgage situation, you just go to patrickglaros.com, GLAROS, patrickglaros.com. Now, if you're thinking, hey, I've seen rates move a little bit, I know they're down, it might be time for a refinance. Also, patrickglaros.com. If you're thinking, it's time for us to move, we're going to buy a house and I don't have or don't want to use all my cash, patrickglaros.com. If you're thinking you'd like pick up that lake house, the ranch house, a rental home, a short-term rental, or anything related to borrowing for a property, that's patrickglaros.com. GLAROS, patrickglaros.com. NMLS number 308804. Patrick's the only guy I've ever used personally for mortgages. I've been using him for over 20 years. It just doesn't get a lot simpler than that. Use Patrick. Go to his website, patrickglaros.com. All right, the question we said we would answer is, what makes one home sell fast and for over asking? Or I might rephrase that. What makes one home sell fast and for over the market average sales price, while another one that may be next door or nearby doesn't sell at all, or maybe sells slower and for less than market average pricing, right? What makes one just dominate the market and one not so much dominate the market?
I'm watching it happen on my street that I'm not going to tell you where I live.
Yeah, it could be anywhere.
It could be anywhere in the world.
Could be in Tahiti for all you people know.
All you know. But I was very curious to have this conversation around.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to answer this two ways. And the first one's going to be quick at a surface level. Some houses are just better than other houses. Not all houses are the same. Actually, as a matter of fact, no two houses are the same. Now, I could also give you extreme scenarios where we're talking like Section 8 of a 14-section neighborhood by the same builder that's only really offering one or two models, and we are like, those houses are the same. They're basically the same lot. I was just
about to say.
They're basically the same lot. They're basically the same house.
Then what do you do? It's just a bid war?
The only real difference would be like, did you take care of it? But let's just say they're both literally brand new. No one's ever lived in them before. What's the difference? Now, if I had 10 hours, I could use all of it to talk to you about how people make decisions, right? Sometimes people are like, this one feels like home. That one doesn't. This one faces north. That one doesn't.
The psychology.
Assuming they're the exact same, the difference would be how they are marketed. Who is responsible for communicating about this house? Now, I'm a real estate broker. I run a real estate team. We're called the Todd Tremonti Home Selling Team. I'm not hiding much here, but I am somewhat biased, but I could also take my hat off and say, look, there goes my broker hat. This is just logic. Take the bias out of it. And the way someone presents your home to market and the way they communicate about your home and negotiate for you is often the single biggest difference maker.
I have a question.
Okay.
What are you doing that is different when it comes to photos and the description on the MLS?
Okay, first let me say those are important factors, but those are like the obvious things that the general consumer is like, yeah, that's what a realtor does.
I would think that's all I need to do.
Those are not the most important things we can do, but they are things that we do. So for example, most people default to first photo is big, obvious, whole house in frame front photo. Now, a lot of the local MLSs require that the primary photo be an exterior photo. Some places they don't. And I would tell you, do not use a front full frame house.
Yeah, that's not where you live.
Number one, because I want it to stand out from all the others. Number two, because of what you just said. That's not really where you live. Now, I could make another argument that says you're going to spend most of the time in your primary bedroom because you sleep there. So give me 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hours there. But I'm going to say use the thing, and I'm giving away a little tip here, use the thing that differentiates your house the most. What makes your house most unique, most uniquely valuable?
Yeah, totally. My mind went to very emotional.
One of the first questions I ask somebody when I'm speaking to them on the phone is, hey, would you tell me what in your mind was the thing that attracted you to your home when you purchased it?
Yeah.
Because to me, that means it's one of the things that we want to make sure we're highlighting as we move forward throughout from the beginning of the marketing, because if it stood out to one person, it's more than likely going to stand out to others, although they may have added some things onto it that we'll also throw in there.
Yeah, and that may not be the thing that is their favorite thing about their house now, but one of the things that our marketing specialists, most people call them listing agents, we don't, when they're sitting with a seller, they'll say, tell me the story of your home. Tell me the story of why you wanted this to be your home. Tell me the story of what makes this special to you. Tell me why your home is valuable to you, right? So it's more story than features. bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, 1 story, 2 story, 1.5 story, split level. Those are features. We need that. And that stuff matters. If you need 5 bedrooms, you're not going to look at 3 bedrooms. So that matters. But the thing that starts to move the needle is when you become a better marketer, advertiser, negotiator, communicator. You're not trying to manipulate others, but you are trying to motivate others to buy your client's property over some other property. So all of that to say, one of the biggest difference makers is the agent. Now, I know how annoying that answer is. So let me give you a few other things. Would you believe me, Courtney, if I said to you, we know for a fact that people buy houses based on feel, emotion, more than logic? Would you believe me if I said that?
Yes.
So research tells us that buyers, and not even just of homes, are way more emotional. And sellers, what do you think? They're way more what?
Pragmatic.
Yeah, analytical, math focused. Sellers have spreadsheets, buyers have stories. Buyers are dreaming of when everyone's there for Christmas, or where's the birthday party going to be, or when we do the big barbecue, And this is not a universal deal, but this is statistically accurate, meaning the majority, the numbers add up in these regards. So buyers are aspirational. Sellers tend to be really analytical. I'm leaving. I'm trying to detach from this property. I'm not thinking about how I'm going to use it. I'm thinking about what it can do for me in the future. And most of that is low drama, more money. Buyers, though, are like, how am I going to feel? Where am I going to have my coffee? Where am I going to teach my kids? Where am I going to invest in my marriage? Or where am I going to escape the world all by myself into my private, quiet, safe place? All those things. So when we're marketing a home for sale, we are marketing to that. And I hate to say this, but 98+% of agents are not. They are marketing to bedrooms, bathrooms, and square footage. They're looking at your house and those 3 or 4 that sold recently, and they're going, okay, they have the same number of bedrooms and the same number of bathrooms and pool or no pool and similar lot size and similar year constructed, and they all sold for an average of blah, 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 so you need to sell for an average of blah, blah, blah. And I need to do the things that realtors do, which is all the same things that all the realtors do. That's the norm. That's the 98% of agents. If you're a real estate agent and you're listening, and I know a lot of you do, and you're great at what you do, then I'm not talking to you. If you're a real estate agent and that sounds eerily like I just called you out, do better. Market homes better. People are expecting you to handle one of their largest assets, hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars. Be an expert. Just be better. And if you're not, I love you, but go do something you can be excellent at. Don't just wear a magnet and tell people you're great if you're not great. It's not your fault if you're new and the industry convinced you that's what you're supposed to do. That is not what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to mislead people and take advantage of people, even if it's by accident. If you're going to help people steward hundreds of thousands of dollars and their families and their marriages and their educations and their commutes and their community involvement, be great at that or go do something else. And if you want to be great at it, we're looking to hire a couple of people right now. Just go to ToddTremontiTeam.com and click on the careers tab. That wasn't where I intended to go with that, but did that answer your question?
Yeah. I mean, I do think that sellers have a hard time disengaging emotionally from the price. How do you not see how great this house is or why it's this price?
So we're not talking about any one specific seller. But the stereotype of sellers is oh, no. My house is worth the most on our street because we have the most beautiful porcelain tile. Nobody else has that. You're
Totally.
you got that at freaking Floor and Decor. Right. It's $1.39 a foot. Literally everyone could have that tile. It's not that special. No. We have designer paint. What does designer paint mean? It's in almost every home description. Designer paint. What?
Right.
What are you talking about?
You have Pharaoh and Ball. I'm so sure.
Oh, you got Lowe's instead of Home Depot. That's very nice. It's very nice. You got the high end, Sherwin-Williams. Right. Great, but who cares? If the buyer doesn't want that, no one cares. So, by the way, hear me out. I'm not saying that the real estate agent is the only factor. Lots of things matter that the neighbors don't ever tell each other. We're oh, I know what that one sold for. You have no idea. You might know the number and you might not, by the way, because people don't always tell. They might say we sold for $800, and then I might go look it up. Well, you sold for $800, but you gave a $42,000 credit to the buyer, so you really sold for $758. But you wanted to tell your friends it was 800, and now they're telling their agent, I want to sell for more than 800. And the agent's like, what are you talking about?
Right.
So, but there are other things that matter. And we have videos all over our YouTube channel, like low cost ways to increase your sales price or just your value. If you're not buying or selling, a lot of this is still relevant to you on just what is your home worth. One of the ones I always talk about that no one ever does is very low cost. You could do it yourself, or you could have it done cheaply by most landscapers, is basic exterior landscape lighting. If you're driving down the street at night, most houses, nothing, porch light, boom, landscape lighting. You're like, oh, wow.
So it's more affordable than I think it is.
You can go buy a box of landscape lighting with like 10 or 12 or 16 lights at Home Depot or Lowe's or Ace Hardware or online on Amazon for like under $300.
No, I need this.
Some of them are like $150. Now, don't get the ones that you can tell before you buy it are going to put off like no light. Get the good, bright, whatever light tone you like. The yellow ones are better than the white ones for landscape lighting. It just works that way. And it's like very low voltage. Anyway, this isn't a show about that, but that's one of those things. And then you, in your marketing, what's going to differentiate my home? I have this landscape lighting. Get some evening shots of your house, which almost no one does because there's nothing to see. Put that in the listing, and then people are like, oh, this one's different. This one has some cool features. This one looks a little better. And then you probably will get 10 to 15, maybe 20 times your money back on that, which isn't a ton. If you spent $200, get a couple, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 back is nice. For most people, that's not like life-changing, but I can give you a strategy like that for 40 or 50 different things in your house. So there are some tactical things, is my point.
I wanted to hear from you about some other popular myths that people say, like you should buy or sell in the summer.
True.
Right.
I mean, it is true if it makes sense for you, your family, and your finances.
Okay.
So that's not wrong, is what Ian's point is.
But
for
it's not
some
your
people,
favorite.
that's great. But no, it's not my favorite. But mostly not because I'm anti-selling in spring and summer, but I'm anti just doing what the masses say you're supposed to do. I'm anti everyone being like, oh, that's what you do. That's a fit for everybody. Real estate
or you should wait until the summer to sell because that's the best time. Like
even though you want to sell over here, nope, you got to wait because that's what everybody says. That's the point Ian's making, and I'm totally in agreement with. Now, Ian also said is the right time to buy or sell is when you and your family and your finances are ready to buy and sell. There's a strategy for every market. Pause for effect. I'll say it again. There is a strategy for every market. Now that is not true if you have one of those 98% of agents that are like, nope, I only have one. So I kind of do it the same no matter what. I describe them the same. I price them the same. I market or don't market them the same every time. I throw it on the MLS, try to take some good photos, and I'm ready to answer my phone. That's my strategy. Spring, summer, fall, high rate, low rate, foreclosure market, short sale market, rampant sellers market. No, I'm a one strategy dude, one trick pony, right? Don't ever use an agent like that. Now, you might get lucky that their one strategy is in alignment with the market at that time, but I promise you, a full-time, fully committed, world-class agent will outperform them 9 out of 10 times. Maybe 10 out of 10, depending on who we're talking about. But what I'm saying to you is I personally have bought almost every home. I think every home. I just haven't checked necessarily all the exact dates. My personal homes in the fall or early winter, like October to November, depending on where you label those. I'm not saying that's the right thing, just like Ian said before. I'm not saying that's always the right thing. I'm saying that it's always a great season for real estate if you have a good strategy. And if you and your family and your finances want or need to move in the fall, it's a great time to buy and sell. And I could give you a ton of reasons for that. I'll give you 2 quick ones. If you're a buyer in the fall, a lot of sellers have lost their optimism because spring and summer is over. And they're thinking stereotypically, and sadly so is their agent. And so they're thinking, shoot, I have to wait till next spring or summer. And you go make an offer, you may get some more negotiability and some more wiggle room there because they're like, I'd rather sell it now than have to wait. If you're a seller in that time of year and you are not a low information, low strategy, pessimistic seller who thinks you've missed the market, you are now selling to buyers who often need to buy, really want to or need to buy before the end of the year or before the holidays or whatever. So I can be optimistic and strategic on both sides, and historically have been, and many of our clients have sold high and bought low during the fall and winter. And I think often way better than they could have during spring and summer.
Let me tell you about DP Lambert and Goosehead Insurance. If you have not shopped your home insurance, your auto insurance recently, reach out to DP. dp.lambert@goosehead.com, 214-614-8595. DP's my guy. He's who we always go to. He's my first call, and he's going to try and get me the best coverage at the cheapest price.
I just got a text from him literally right now. That's what I was trying to show you. Yep, we're renewing a bunch of stuff with him right now. It doesn't get any better.
We were just talking to him last week. We're getting ready to do some renewals. We've got another month or so until we need to, but he was giving me kind of some preliminary numbers. And so we've started the process already with DP. We do it every single year. You should too. Reach out to DP, dp.lambert@goosehead.com, LAMBERT, dp.lambert@goosehead.com, 214-614-8595. And as always, if you forget any of the recommended pros and vendors, head over to toddtramonteteam.com, click on the radio tab, and that's where you will find every single person we talk about.
That's right. Courtney, I know you had a couple other myths that you wanted to discuss. Let's go rapid fire.
Okay. You should save money by doing it yourself or using a discount agent.
The discount agent.
I love the discount agent question because the term discount agent is a bad term. It assumes that there is a standard fee for real estate agents, and there is not a standard fee. All commissions are negotiable and not set by law. And there's been a bunch of court cases to continue to reiterate that. But I have been what most people call a discount agent. I owned a franchise for 5 years that sold homes for a very, very, very low flat fee. And I can tell you, it was not good for the consumer. I've been there. I tested it for 5 years. I made no money, and our clients, although they got a very hardworking agent, me, and the beginnings of our team, we worked really, really hard, but we didn't have the results we can have now because we didn't have as much to invest in the process. We didn't have great staff. We didn't have great technology. We couldn't invest in a ton of marketing. We could work really hard, which I think lots of agents do. Sounds like I badmouth agents a lot. I don't. There's a lot of hardworking, well-intentioned people that just are not experts with great resources. They're not running real businesses. They're working kind of neighborhood side gigs, sometimes even full-time, but they're kind of just well-intentioned, very hardworking, kind people who are still winging it without systems and structure and technology and staff and expertise and education and all that stuff. So that is the cost most of the time. You pay less, you get less. I'm not saying all the time. You might hit a home run, but the vast majority of the time, you're going to pay that agent less. You're going to get very little bit of their time and attention, or they're just not going to have the expertise and the resources. Now, if your mom is a world-class agent and she gives you a discount because she's your mom, that's not really what I'm talking about, although that doesn't always work out either. But I'm talking about like the business model that just says we'll do it for less. For them to make a living, they have to do way more. For them to do way more, they can't have the tools, technology, and stats and support to really help you at a high level. And when markets shift, these models pop up and they act and sound and look innovative. They're not. A race to the bottom of pricing is not innovation. It's usually very short-sighted and very harmful to home buyers and home sellers and investors and consumers that want that. So I think you had maybe one more. Let's see if we can fit it in.
Yeah, you have to do a ton of work to prep your house.
Awesome. I can give you a short one on this. Not everybody does. Many of the people that John and Jeremy and our team meet with, they actually tell them, hey, you actually don't need to do a lot of what you thought you needed to do. Sometimes we are saying it's up to you. If you'll do this, I can probably get you another $10,000. If you'll spend $500 here, I can probably get you $15,000. This won't even cost you any money. It'll just take a little time. If you can do that, I think we can sell a little bit quicker. Now, sometimes you need to do some stuff. I'm not saying you don't, but a lot more often than people think, we're telling them what we're going to do here after we show them our proprietary process is already going to max out your value. Like, you don't have to do that. What you do have to do when you're buying, I think, is actually consider a home warranty. At least take a look. Trinity Home Advisors is a great resource, trinityhomeadvisors.com, or just go to toddtramonteteam.com, click on that radio tab, and so many of the folks that we trust, our clients trust, that we work with all the time will be right there for you. If we can help you with buying or selling or doing anything before this fall market really gets running, toddtramonteteam.com. What's up, party people? Welcome back. Welcome back. When we went to the break, we were doing a lot of popular myths that are myths. Turns out when you label it a myth, it should be a myth, and they're myths. They are misleading, non-fact-based problematic things that people actually often believe.
We missed a couple. We didn't get to Bigfoot. We didn't get to the Loch Ness Monster.
Listen,
Nessie.
I'm not a big t-shirt guy, but one of the all-time great t-shirts is the one with Bigfoot on it that just says all-time hide-and-seek champ. It's so good. I've probably bought it for my son 3 times in different sizes. It's so good. There's the other one with the T-Rex with his little short arms, and it says, if you're happy and you know it, oh.
That's good.
He can't clap his hands, Courtney. His hands are so short. Oh, you get it? You got it. All right, folks. We want to invite you, if you are a real estate agent, team leader, or broker, to join us at this year's Real Growth Summit, realgrowthsummit.com. It's a conference we do where we literally pour out our heart and our soul and our brains to help the real estate community, the real estate industry, take a step in the direction of excellence, take a step in the direction of world class. You hear us kind of harp on agents on this show a lot, and it's not that we have it out against any one person, any one brand, or really people at all, but the industry is made up of people, and it's true that most of those people are just not very good at their job. Doesn't mean they're not well-intentioned, doesn't mean they're not hardworking. It just means they're not world-class experts. I will not respond to emails that object to that. It's just factually, that's what it is. The general public does not have a very high regard for real estate agents. It's a little too easy to become a real estate agent and a little too hard to be successful as a real estate agent. Lots of data and lots of experience prove those things to be true. But we put this conference on every year. We invite hundreds of real estate agents, team leaders, and brokers from all over North America to join us here in DFW, September 15th and 16th this year, to learn from really great agents, to hear from us, to share with each other, to bring your best stuff, and to help serve buyers and sellers better, to build a better business. We say to build the business that supports the life that you want to live. You're going to hear our values. You're going to hear that we feel like God has given us very specific gifts that we are supposed to share with the world in our businesses. And so we are committed to being world class. We're always looking for people to join our team, to come work with us. But this conference is not about joining our team. It's about sort of joining this movement, this commitment, this crusade that we're on to help our industry just be better, to be more expert oriented, to deliver more value, to serve the community better. We think that real estate agents ought to be on the same level as a CPA or an attorney or like your family doctor. Okay. And so this is one of the things we do to try to make that happen. If you're a real estate agent, team leader, or broker, or you know one, or you love one, or you care for one, or you want to be one, go to realgrowthsummit.com. The early bird pricing is up for maybe one more week. And you can save a bunch of money on a ticket. I think you can save like $800 on a ticket still right now. They're very affordable right now. realgrowthsummit.com. Come hang out with us September 15th and 16th. Lots of really good information, lots of connection. Join this community, cocktail parties, get to know some people, hang out, have some fun, learn a lot. And we do a lot of good work for a lot of good cause while we're there as well. realgrowthsummit.com. Now, if you are looking to get into the business and you are looking to join a great team, we'd love to connect with you. You can go to toddtremonteteam.com. That's
toddtremonteteam.com.
And just click the careers tab. But before we do that, Ian, you've been on the team for how long now?
It'll be 10 years in a few months.
Almost a decade, Courtney. Can you believe that we've put up with each other that long?
Incredible.
Ian came to a client event because he was first a client. And I said, how are you doing? And he was like, not great. We don't have to get into that whole story, but he wasn't loving his previous job. And then within 3 or 4 months-ish, 2 months, joined the team. And then since then, why do you stay? Why do you love working here? Why this?
Yeah, I mean, I think first and foremost, the position that I get to be in on the team, where I'm getting to work so closely with all of our agents and have impact in their lives, is like the primary reason. Like, that sounds cheesy and corny, but
it does.
Like in previous roles that I've had throughout my life, both in England and here in the US, like it's always been roles where I'm working closely with people. And so, you know, people can label that whatever it is, but the fact that I get to help directly impact their lives and see, you know, them achieve things that they want to do with their families is really cool for me, and to get to lead that on a daily basis. And then, you know, we get to do that with agents all around the country too in Real Estate Growth Systems, our consulting company. And so, you know, I say ours because I try and be as invested as I can. I don't own any of it, but, you know, I try and treat it in the same sense, and because I have that mentality. But yeah, I mean, there's so many things that we get to do that we love. I had a job previously where like the environment and the team culture, it was at a church that I worked at, was so fun. It was such a cool environment that we got to be a part of, and we've tried to instill some of that here to where people want to come to the office, and we play games, and we do bets with each other for stupid consequences and things like that. But like, that's the stuff that it makes it fun. It can be such a mundane thing if you just have to go to an office every single day for work, and it's like, no, nobody wants to do that.
Round of applause, folks. We'll call it a decade. We're a little shy of a decade, and it's just been really fun to watch your journey. You know, Ian's been in ministry, law enforcement, hospitality, all kinds of stuff. Not promised, but was fairly committed to never getting into real estate, and then got into real estate, but in a way that fits your giftedness, the way God made you, what you're passionate about, the competitive nature that you have. It checks a lot of those boxes. And I've got to see you grow from what was kind of an inside sales appointment setting role, very natural, not the plan, never really even discussed, into a natural leadership role. And the last thing I would say, just to kind of put a bow on that, is you just spent a lot of time talking about how you get to invest into our team and our staff and those people. I would just say it is very much to the benefit of our clients, right? That, you know, Ian and I often think of our team as our primary client. So as we invest in them and resource them and encourage them and sharpen them and educate them and hold them accountable and all the things that leaders need to do, then we together and they out on the front lines get to help hundreds of families every year actually buy and sell, and thousands of families, individuals and families, every single year get information, get protected, get advocated for, get help, get supported, get directed or redirected, get a resource, get a tip, get an introduction or a referral. That's a very cool leveraged way to lead and grow. And Ian's done that, you know, for just shy of a decade here in a really great way. Now, yes, way to go, Ian, but also, if any of that resonates with you and you're like, man, I feel like I have some God-given gifts and abilities that every once in a while I know when I'm using them and it feels awesome and I would like to get to do it more, but I don't. I have a good job. I'm happy with my job, but I don't get to use those gifts and abilities as much as I want. Maybe we should have a conversation about you potentially joining our team, either on the Dallas side in our Richardson office or over on the Fort Worth side. You can reach out to us also, call or text 214-310-0008, or you could go online to toddtremonteteam.com. If all else fails, by the way, just Google my name, Todd Tremonti, spell it as best you can. You'll find us. We've got over 800 5-star Google reviews and dozens of other reviews in other places. You'll find us, lots of websites and videos and things. Call any phone number, text any phone number, fill out any form. Let us know. We do have a careers tab at toddtremonteteam.com where there's actually a 3-step application process. And we'd love to chat with you, either for now or for later, about whether you using your gifts and abilities with our team can help us lead the team, love on our clients, add a ton of value in the community, in the marketplace. Yes, we are here to make money, make a great living, but we are equally, if not more, committed to having massive impact, ideally eternally, but to change people's lives here in DFW in and around their real estate. Just go to toddtremonteteam.com. Okay, a couple of the things I want to make sure we cover today before we wrap things up here. We'll talk a little bit about backyards and what's cooking with backyards, wink, wink, in the heat of the summer. But also, it's been a while since we talked about Lake Highlands. I've got some history with Lake Highlands, Courtney. I don't know if you knew that, but
yeah, tell me, is that where you started?
That is where That's a bit of a trick question. The first house that Dana and I owned together, we moved in after we got married, after our apartment, was in Lake Highlands.
Sure.
And one of my first real estate physical offices was in Lake Highlands. We were up and down Skillman and Royal and Abrams a lot.
People love Lake Highlands.
Oh, we loved it.
I think it's
we absolutely loved it.
A hot property.
So let's reframe. So Lake Highlands is awesome. It's a highly desirable place. You're talking city of Dallas, but Richardson schools, which is kind of a sweet spot overlay for a lot of people. It's funny, if you're from the area, Lake Highlands is what it is. You know where it is. If you're not from the area, you may not know that there's a little bit of a dispute over where the actual boundaries of Lake Highlands are. So there's some people would say they're in Lake Highlands and they're outside of 635. Mm-hmm. And others would be like, if you're outside 635, that's
you
not
ain't
Lake
in Lake Highlands.
If you're east of certain places, and I'm not going to call people out, but some people would be like, that's not Lake Highlands. Others would say, there would be some dispute about the lake itself, which is White Rock Lake. Some people would be like, why is it called Lake Highlands? Well, it's the higher ground, mostly north of White Rock Lake.
The high land.
It's the lake highlands. And many, 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 many of the homes over there in areas called like the L Streets, by the way, were originally built by or for communities that thought of that as outside of Dallas way back then. Outside of Dallas, those were lake homes, not like on the lake, but around and near the lake. There's so much cool history of Lake Highlands that during, let's just say, problematic times in the United States, there were like Job Corps projects out there to build some of those roads and build some of those facilities. Flagpole Hill is kind of a big deal over here. It's one of the highest points in Dallas, even though it's only like less than a few hundred feet above sea level. It's just kind of funny. But Lake Highlands is an awesome place to be. It's a great location, northeast Dallas, but has a bit of a Richardson vibe because of the school district. Not in Richardson, but in the Richardson School District. Great location, kind of up and down 75, right there at that corner of 75 and 635.
A lot of mid-century ranch style, modern.
Man, the mid-century modern term is really popular in Lake Highlands.
Yeah.
There's been some tear down, rebuild. There's also a lot of fighting to keep Lake Highlands with some of those original homes and original styles. But from a real estate perspective, it has always been a hot spot in DFW, meaning like as long I've been in the DFW area over 20 years. I'm not originally from here, but I've been here for a long time. It has always been a place that people want to live. Mm-hmm. Occasionally, you'll kind of hear the joke that like you go to Lake Highlands, and then if you can, you go to Highland Park.
A little entry point.
And not everybody wants to make that move, but those are two very, very desirable places to live. And so Lake Highlands has got a very good community-oriented feel. There's a lot of like, if you know someone over there, you kind of know everyone over there. Lake Highlands Town Center is kind of new in the last 15 to 20 years. People loved the redevelopment, but some people kind of miss the older, mature vibe over there. But if I were just to give you a snapshot, as we've been doing with lots of areas around DFW over the last 5 years, days on market is not a perfect metric, but it's a good general check-in just to tell you the pace of the market. Okay. How many days are homes spending on the market? I'm going to go from 20 to 25, which is actually 6 years, and just to give you the averages year by year. So starting in 20, going to 2025, we had 84, 23, 18. So a quick decrease in homes days on market, very, pretty dramatically from 84 to 23 to 18. And then we see the climb back up. So from 18, we go 35, 58. And then this year to date, which is misleading because we don't have the whole year, we're back down to 36. Now, days on market is not the most valuable, most incredible, most important metric. That's a median, by the way, so just kind of middle of the distribution. Now, when we look at months of inventory, that usually tells us, are we in a buyer's market or a seller's market? And what that means is who has the most leverage, who's getting the better deals. Buyers get a better deal when there's a lot of inventory, meaning there's tons to choose from, and sellers are more negotiable. When there's a lot less to choose from, sellers tend to have more power. Not as many homes to choose from and more buyers out there choosing between them. So from 2020 to 2025, that looks like 3 months of inventory, then 1, then 1, then 3, then 3, then 3. And I'm just kind of picking a month to represent the whole year. I'm using January's just so you guys know. It tends to be one of the slower months of the year in DFW, but it doesn't really matter. It's very, very similar inventory-wise within those calendar years. So what does total number of sales look like in Lake Highlands over those years? In those same years, we go 46 to 52 to 53 to 41 to 42 to 58. So very consistent.
Steady.
Now that's in 1 month. So we're going January year over year over year. So just what's happening in January in 2020 through 2025.
Okay.
Closing price, meaning when a house actually closed, what was the price it closed at? And again, I'm using January, which is one of the slower months. Median is almost every year somewhere between high 3s and low 5s. 373, 430, 510, 392, 510. So the value of homes in Lake Highlands has skyrocketed in the last 20 years. And that's not an exaggeration. We're talking about homes that were being bought in the high 1s that are now being bought in the low to mid 5s. Like 3 to 4 times the property value just in the last, 10 to 20 years. That's wild. It's a good thing if you are buying and selling. Now, one of the other things about Lake Highlands is there's a lot of buying and staying and never wanting to leave. And so there's been some frustration around those tax values because Lake Highlands has had incredible tax values.
Sure.
But incredible place to live, less affordable, meaning just the entry price point is much harder. Real unique personality with literally the highlands over the lake. When I used to live there and work there every single day, I always really liked how there was elevation to the roads. You get stuck at a stoplight every once in a while and realize, I can see for like a mile. Mm-hmm. I can see the rolling hills over here. There's some grid pattern neighborhoods. There's not a lot of like named neighborhoods over there. The L Streets has some real personality, but a lot of it is just, hey, I'm at Skillman and Royal. I'm over at Abrams. It's what are the cross streets? What part of the grid do you live in? And then you get down to Northwest Highway, which is really the kind of the southern divide for most people. And you get into what others would just kind of call East Dallas or White Rock Lake area. And then to the north, you're getting up into kind of the Richland College area and then up into Richardson, East Dallas to the east, southeast. And then, to the west, you're getting into either Dallas or little edges of Richardson. But very cool place to live, direct access, immediately accessible to just about everything you could want. Lots of good restaurants, lots of good retail. RISD school district, Richardson schools are tend to be, almost all the time highly regarded. You've got community college in that area, Collin College not too far to the north, University of Texas, Dallas. So you got higher education stuff, not too far from Love Field and DFW, hospitals, you got it all. Lake Highlands is one of those you've got it all areas. It tends to be really pretty. Most Dallas neighborhoods, especially in Dallas, aren't known for natural beauty. You talked about kind of the mid-century modern, just a lot of ranch-style brick homes, but there's been a lot of money invested in revitalization, remodeling of some of those homes, additions to those homes, garage conversions of some of those homes, and some tear-down rebuilds. Just a really cool community where some people do view it as a first or second home community, and then they want to get out to bigger lots and bigger homes. Many view it as the community they want to get in, stay in, and never leave. Lake Highlands is a truly awesome community, great place to live. If you're local and you haven't been over there lately or thought about it, great place to live. Go check it out. If you're checking out live on radio or podcast, or you're catching a YouTube or something and you're from outside the area, great place to consider, especially if you're wanting to be on the east or northeast part of the Dallas area. Great spot to live, work, play, and be. Lake Highlands.
Next time you're looking to buy or sell your home, hopefully you're going to close that thing a Republic title.
I know I want to.
I know I want to too, and have done on several occasions. Same. Republic. They make sure that everything goes so smoothly. They really do. I don't have issues when I have contracts that has Republic Title's name on them. They're the experts at what they do. They're so diligent in making sure that everything runs smoothly, and it just makes it great for everybody that's involved. You can go to republictitle.com. You can find out all the things that they offer. republictitle.com. You can call them at 972-423-8777. republictitle.com.
Hey, folks, just checking in on your joy of homeownership, your wealth building, your protection of your most valuable assets, plural. Your home is probably one of them. It might be your number one most valuable asset, but do you know what it's worth right now? Do you know what you could sell it for in a pinch, or if an incredible opportunity came up for family or job or life or recreation or whatever? Most people keep an eye on their retirement accounts, their stock portfolio, how much cash they have in the bank. But unfortunately, our industry has done a really bad job of educating people that you ought to have a pretty good running idea of what your home is worth. If you had to, what could you borrow against it? If you had to, what could you sell it for? If a friend or family or neighbor needed some information, do you have the value of your home to help with the value of a potential home nearby, or at least a relative value? In under 1 minute, no exaggeration, 30, 40, 50 seconds, you can know what your home is worth. If you go to toddtramonteteam.com, it's totally free. In under a minute, just click that seller valuation, home valuation, actually. Click the home valuation button at toddtramonteteam.com. Just go do that right now. It'll take you less than a minute. Share it with any of your friends. Be like, hey, you can find out what your home's worth in less than a minute. It helps with protesting property taxes. It helps with a refinance. It helps as you think about selling or keeping as a rental or buying, or it just helps you sleep a little bit better at night knowing you're a responsible homeowner that knows what your house is worth. While you're there, also in under a minute, you could request a cash offer. You could track your home's equity, like the amount you could take out of it at any point. It'll update you every month if you want. You could also search every house for sale online by every real estate agent in all of DFW. You can do all that at toddtramonteteam.com. You need to know what your house is worth. Even if you have no plans of selling, no plans of moving, it's just one of those adult, responsible homeowner, investor, wealth builder, protector things to do. Go to toddtramonteteam.com. Click that home valuation button.
I did it this week with Connor, one of our newer team members that's working with us, just to show him kind of what it was. It took me like 24 seconds.
Ooh, might be a new record, 24. Yeah, it really is that simple. And we can't harp on it enough because it's a great resource that we wanted to make sure we could offer our friends. Now, I'm not going to use a bunch of other companies' names here, but there's a very well-known online real estate platform that has a Z in it that is notorious for giving people values of their homes that are really bogus, not even close to accurate some of the times. Occasionally they're right, almost by accident. It's just not a real reliable number. Ours is going to be a locally driven, more reliable number. But also, if you get that number and you're like, I want a custom valuation, you're going to get an email with all the details. You can just reply to that email and be like, hey, could you give me a more personal, more custom, more specialized valuation? And then we'll have one of our full-time, fully dedicated, world-class real estate experts ask you a few questions, and within a day or two, get you a custom deep dive valuation of your home that you could really use to protest taxes or help with a refinance or a purchase or a sale or anything like that. There's no charge for any of that. It's a service we offer because we want to add value in your life. And of course, if you buy or sell, we'd love a shot to earn your trust and earn your business. That's at toddtramonteteam.com, toddtramonteteam.com.